crochet friends, I'm Tiffany and welcome to my channel where I teach you a little bit of gardening and a little bit of crochet. Now today's topic is crochet related. It is another crochet bag. I will link my first crochet bag in the description. It did so well. I was so honored that I jumped right into making another pattern. It's kind of the same with a little bit of tweaking, but it's still super easy. This is the cat's eye stitch. So just follow along and you will learn how to make this adorable summer bag perfect for all of your summer outings this year. Okay, let's go over all the things that you're going to need to make this bag. Now I'm using the ombre skeins and I also used ombre for this. So if I flip this bag over, this is how one side looks. This is how the other side looks, and this is what ombre does. It takes one color from light to dark or dark to light, almost like two bags in one, depending on my mood. So if you want ombre as well, that is what it's going to be. It is a Red Heart Super Saver ombre, and it needs to be a 482 yard skein, just like my other video. This is called Green Apple for this color that we're going to use. It needs to be medium weight, size 4, and it's also 100% acrylic, so you can machine wash and dry this, which I love. And you're not going to use the whole skein. This is how much I have left for this bag, so I love that. And if you want this exact pattern for this, very calming blue, it is called True Blue. So that's for this. This is Green Apple. You need a pair of scissors, a sewing needle, 4 stitch markers. You can use the kind that's for crochet. I just use safety pins. It's perfectly fine. Everybody has those on hand. And a 5mm H crochet hook is what you're going to need. So let's just get started making the cat's eye stitch. Okay, so to begin, you need to make a slip knot. So this is the working yarn. You just need to make a curve, and this distance just has to be a couple inches, anywhere from like 3 to 4. It doesn't really have to be exact. Now pinch that with your thumb and pointer. Pinch the working yarn with your middle and ring finger. It will have a loop like this. With your right hand, make a heart with your thumb and pointer and go underneath that loop. With your palm facing up, you're going to turn your palm facing down and it's going to create an X. Now turn your right wrist towards your left and then grab this yarn, pinch that now, and let the yarn above and below your thumb fall off, and move your wrists away from each other, and it will start creating that slip knot like that. You can let go of the tail and it will create your slip knot. So put your crochet hook through that loop and pull on your working yarn and your tail away from each other. It will start moving that knot up towards your hook, and you don't want it to be too tight. So now you're going to chain 83 for my pattern. So if you don't know how to do a chain, you put your crochet hook in front of that working yarn, and then you wrap the yarn around, and then you pull it through the loop that's on your hook. And that's one chain. Then you put your crochet hook in front of the working yarn, wrap your yarn around, go through the next loop that's on your hook, and that's 2 chains. And you go up to 83, and I will meet you after you chained your 83 chains. Okay, I have my 83 chains, and now in the second chain from the hook, we're going to start row 1. So not what's on your hook, that is your first chain, that is your second chain. You're going to go in that and do a single crochet. So I'm going to turn my chain and grab 2 loops. You don't have to, you can just go in one. You yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through 2, and that's how you do a single crochet. That is your first single crochet. Now you're going to chain 3. So yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through. That's your 3 chains. And now you're going to skip 2 chains and go into the next with a single crochet. So that's 1 chain, 2 chain over here. Go in that. I'm going to turn my chain, grab 2 loops, wrap your yarn around, pull through, 2 loops on your hook, wrap your yarn around, pull through 2. Now you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and you're just going to repeat where you skip 2 chains, go in the next with a single crochet, like that. Chain 3, skip 2 chains, go in the next with a single crochet, and do this all the way down this row, and I will meet you at the end. This is how you're getting your cat eye stitches. So cute. This is my 27th single crochet. I'm going to chain 3, and you should end where there's 3 stitches left, 2 to skip over, and your last single crochet will be in that very last chain. So that's how you should be ending row 1. With a single crochet in the very last chain, like that. Now you're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you're going to turn. Okay, so for row 2, you're going to do double crochets and single crochets. Now your chain 4 counts as your first double crochet, chain 1. So now you're going to do a single crochet in this space, this big space, go in, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Now you're going to chain 1, and now you're going to do a double crochet in this single crochet from the previous row. And if you don't know how to do that, you yarn over first, go in that stitch, and yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That is a double crochet. You're going to chain 1, do a single crochet in that space, chain 1, do a double crochet in that single crochet, chain 1, single crochet in that space, chain 1, double crochet in this single crochet, chain 1, single crochet in that space, chain 1, double crochet in the single crochet. And that's just going to be the pattern for this row all the way across. And I will meet you at the end to show you how to finish row 2. Doing a double crochet, chain 1, single crochet in this space. Now you might think that you're done, but you still need to chain 1 because there is a single crochet right here on the end. So go in that with your last double crochet. Just don't forget about that guy on the end. He is a single crochet. Just like that. Now for row 3, you're going to chain 1 and turn. So for row 3, you're going to do a single crochet in that very first double crochet right there. Go in, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2. And now you're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to do your single crochet in this next double crochet right here. Go in that stitch and do your single crochet. chain 3, come over here to this next double crochet right there, do your single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and just keep doing your single crochets only in the double crochets all the way down, and then chaining 3 in between. Super, super easy row. I will meet you at the end to show you how to end row 3. I have a single crochet, chain 3, and you still need one more single crochet in this space because you have a chain 4, which was a double crochet, chain 1. So since you're working in double crochets, you need to also include that as a double crochet. So go in just that big old space and do your last single crochet to end row 3. Now for row 4, you're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you're going to turn. So row 4 is your double crochet, chain 1, single crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, single crochet, chain 1. That's row 2. It's the same as row 4. And if you remember, the first chain 4 is your double crochet, chain 1. So you're going to go into this space right here and start your single crochet. And chain 1, do a double crochet in that single crochet. Chain 1, single crochet in that space, chain 1, double crochet in the single crochet, chain 1, single crochet in that space, chain 1, double crochet in the single crochet, and that is all that it is, all the way down, just repeating. So I will meet you at the end. I did a double crochet, chain 1. Now I'm going to do a single crochet in this space, chain 1, and a double crochet in that last single crochet right on the end. That's how row 4 ends. And now you're going to chain 1 and turn for row 5. Okay, so for row 5, you're going to repeat row 3, and for row 6, you're going to repeat row 4, row 7, you're going to repeat row 3, and you're just going to keep going 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, all the way up to row 58. This is row 5 of the 58 total rows. So this is the biggest time-consuming part of your bag. So enjoy crocheting that, and then just pause the video, work it up. Meet me back when you're ready to start row 59. Do not yarn off, and I will show you the next step on how to crochet your bags. So I did my 58 rows, and you should have ended on row 4, which is a single crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, that row. So if that's how you ended, you're on the right track. So now it will just be a big square roughly. So if that's also what you're coming up with, then you're doing good. This is the stitch so far. So if you've made it to this step, you'll see how pretty it is. And this is the ombre look so far. So it's gone from medium to light. It's going back to medium and the darkest part of the green. I'm working from the center, so I still have some dark to go. And then I don't know if I'll get to much of the light green because you don't use the whole skein, so we'll see. So now for row 59, you're going to chain 1 and turn just like you've been doing. And you're kind of going to repeat row 3 where you do your single crochets, but you're not going to chain 3 in between. Starting in your first double crochet right here, you're going to go in and do a single crochet. So just like you would have tried to repeat row 3, you're going to go in that first double crochet with your single crochet, So nothing has changed on that step. Do a single crochet, and instead of chaining 3, which would be your next step, you're just going to go over to your next double crochet and do a single crochet right there. And you're going to go over to this next double crochet and do a single crochet. That is all that you're doing. You're just skipping over your chain 3s. You're not doing that. And I've only done 4 single crochets and it's already scooted it together. So that's the look that you're going for. You're trying to, you know, cinch up your bag to start turning it into a bag instead of a square. So we need to start getting less stitches. So I just took out the chain 3s to start that process. So it's super easy, just going into the double crochets only and go all the way down, and I will meet you at the end of row 59. This is my 27th single crochet, and just like row 3, how that chain 4 is a double crochet, you need that last single crochet to be in that space. So still end in the same way in that big space, doing a single crochet. Now for row 60, you're going to chain 1 and turn. And you're going to start with a single crochet decrease in the first 2 stitches right here. And if you don't know how to do that, you're going to go into the first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, and you're not going to finish that. You're just going to go right into the next stitch with your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook now, and then you're going to yarn over and go through all 3 of those loops. And that is a single crochet decrease. Now you're going to do 1 single crochet separately in the next 2 stitches. So go into the very next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through, and go into the very next stitch, doing the same thing, just 1 single crochet. So you're doing a decrease, 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet. Now you're going to do another decrease in the next 2 stitches. So go in, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops, do not finish, go in the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. That is your decrease, and then just do 1 single crochet separately in the next 2 stitches. And keep doing that. Do a decrease in the next 2 stitches, go in, pull up a loop, go in the next stitch, pull up a loop, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3. Do 1 single crochet separately in the next 2 stitches. And again. And just keep doing that. Decrease in 2 stitches, 1 single crochet separately in 2 stitches. So just keep repeating that. I will meet you at the end to show you how to finish row 60. I have 18 stitches so far, and I have 4 stitches left, so I'm going to do my final decrease, which makes 19 stitches, and 1 single crochet separately in the very last 2 stitches, which makes 21 stitches total. So if you're doing the same exact pattern, that's the number that you should come up with. So for row 61, you're going to chain 1 and turn. Now in this row, you're going to do a decrease in the first 2 stitches and the last 2 stitches of this row only. That's your only decreases. And then the rest of the stitches are 1 single crochet in every single stitch in between. So right here at the very beginning, you're going to do your single crochet decrease. So go in, yarn over, pull up a loop, go in the very next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3. That's your decrease. Now just go along doing 1 single crochet in every single stitch till you have 2 stitches left. Save those for your last decrease, and I will meet you there to show you how to end row 61. Okay, so I have 18 stitches so far and I have 2 stitches left. So you're going to go into your very last 2 stitches with your single crochet decrease. And you should have 19 stitches now. So now you're going to chain 1 and turn. And the next rows are super easy because you're just going to do 1 single crochet in every single stitch. So you had 19 stitches, you're going to just keep having 19 stitches. Back and forth, back and forth. This is row 62, so I'm just going to get you started. And that's very first stitch right there. You're going to go in and do your single crochet. And then just go all the way across with 1 single crochet in every stitch. Couldn't be easier. So pause the video, whip up those rows, and I will meet you and show you the next step. So this is my very last 19th stitch. And now you're just going to yarn off. So it's basically doing a chain, but then pulling on your yarn. And then you're going to cut your yarn because you're done with this side. And I'm just going to weave in my end right now just to get it out the way, because when we start working in rounds, I just want this already sewn in and not in the way. I just weaved in my end on the back right here. So you're just going to spin it in this direction 1 time so that this is on the bottom, so that you can get down to this part where your tail is at the very beginning of this tutorial. And this is where you're going to attach your yarn. So I'm going to zoom back in now. So grab your working yarn and make a new slip knot where you pinch here and you pinch here. You have a loop, go under it, make an X, turn your wrist, grab that, let the other fall off to the faster version. Now have that ready. Come over to your slip knot. It's right here. I only will have 1 stitch to go in, 1 little loop is available. So put your hook through that first, and then put your slip knot on, your crochet hook, and then I go underneath my slip knot and I just push on it. It'll make it go closer to your crochet hook, and you don't want it too tight. Now you're going to pull that slip knot through this loop, and you're going to chain 1. So as if you did this row and you chained 1 and turned, this is where you would be doing your next row. And you're going to repeat row 59. So as if we did row 58, where we did this huge square and I met back up with you, this would be row 59. And you're going to go up to row 65 just like we've been doing. So since this is a little bit different because it's upside down, we're now going to go in the same exact stitch. You see that hole right there? We're going to go in the same thing and do a single crochet. That's how we're going to start. So go into that very same stitch, pull up a loop and yarn over, pull through 2. That's your very first single crochet. And you don't have to think back, but for row 59, we did just single crochets and we didn't do those chain 3s in between. So we're going to do a single crochet on these upside down single crochets only, and that's going to bring in your work. So I only have my 1 loop to go in, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, and you're just going to keep going all the way over to your next single crochet, doing just single crochets. And I will meet you at the end of this row just to make it a little bit easier, because we are working with upside down work right now. So just this row is what's going to be the hardest. 27th, and my very last single crochet is right here. So I'm going to go right above it, this bar, and do my very last single crochet. So you should have 28 single crochets total, and then that's how you're right on track with the other direction. So for row 60, you're going to chain 1 and turn. Now it is exactly how I explain it. So in the first 2 stitches for row 60, you're going to do a single crochet decrease. So go in the very first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, and go in the very next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3. That is your first decrease. And then in the next 2 stitches, you're going to separately do 1 single crochet in each stitch, and then do a single crochet decrease in the next 2 stitches. Do 2 separate 1 single crochets in the next 2 stitches, and then do a decrease, 2 single crochets, decrease, 2 single crochets, go all the way down. So finish row 60 to row 65, and don't yarn off, and I will meet you there and show you the next step of this bag. This is how it should be looking, 2 sides brought in, getting that bag feel already. We're not going to be turning this back and forth. We're just going to be working in rounds. So in that same exact stitch that you're in, you're going to go right back in it and add 1 more single crochet. And you're going to mark that stitch with your first stitch marker to start round 1, because we're going to be working in rounds. So just mark that very first single crochet that we did. So now from this corner all along this side up to this corner is going to be called side 1, and you're going to be doing 1 single crochet evenly spaced till you get to, I'm going to have to move the background so you can see the holes, but you have, they're not the cat eye stitches, these are the cat eye stitches, but they're these spaces between the cat eye stitches. That is what you're only going to go into when you get to this part. So just evenly do 1 single crochet until you get to that. Does not have to be perfect. Just keep track of your number, because this side has to be an even number, and you're going to count the stitch marker. So we already did 1 stitch. So just go along the side doing 1 single crochet. That's 2 stitches. Three, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and I am right here. So I'm at my not cat eye spaces. So you're going to go into that hole and do your single crochets. And go only into that hole. So you're skipping over all of this, just going into the space way over here. We're right here. We're just going to go all the way over here and do another single crochet. And we're right here. So we're going to go all the way to this spot. And this is how you're going to bring in this side as well, by skipping over stitches. There's my next one. That's all you're going to do. Keep track of your number, because this number needs to be even for round 2 when we get back to this spot. It doesn't have to be the same number as mine, just needs to be even. So my blue summer bag was 40 single crochets, so I'm gonna see how close together. If I'm, right on 40, that'll be perfect, but it doesn't have to be. But I'm just gonna see how close I am to that number. See how it's already bringing it in by skipping over spaces. Okay, I'll meet you at the end. I'm at that curve. So I have 34 stitches so far, and that blue summer bag, I did 40 single crochets. So if I want it to be exactly the same, I just need to evenly space out 6 more single crochets. So again, if your number is not exactly like mine, it doesn't have to be. But I'm going to try to make both of mine the exact same. So that was 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, and right on the end I'm going to put a 40. So that's how mine is looking. And you're going to mark your very last single crochet. So your first single crochet, and for me this is my 40th, so my first and my 40th stitches will be marked. It will show you the side, so from stitch marker to stitch marker, this is side 1. After the stitch marker is side 2. So kind of just spin your work a little bit, and we're going to be working on the straps. So that is side 2. So we're going to chain 80 for this shoulder strap. You can change the number if you want to. It doesn't have to be even. Just keep track of that number so that you can match the other shoulder strap. But I'm going to chain 80. That is my pattern. So just pause the video, chain your 80 chains, and don't put your work down. Otherwise, you'll have to make sure it's not twisted when you go to connect this long chain. So just make sure it's not twisted so that you don't get a twisted shoulder strap in the end. After you have your 80 chains, you're going to connect it to the top of the next corner. So just go in, just find a spot. It does not have to be perfect, just on that corner. You're going to go in, pull up a loop, 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2, and that is going to be your first single crochet. And you're going to mark that as stitch number 1 for side 3. Side 1 and side 3 are going to be the exact same, so whatever number of single crochets you had, you need the exact same on this side. So my number was 40, so that was stitch 1 of my 40. So I'm just going to evenly space out my 1 single crochets until I get to these not cat eye stitches. I'm going to get over there so I can show you. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that might have been a not cat eye stitch, but that's okay. So I am to my non-cat eye stitches, and that is where I'm going to go in those big holes, just like side 1, skipping over all of this, go into this next one, skipping over all of this, going into this next one. Just do that all the way down, and when I get towards the end, I should have 40. And if I don't, I'm just going to make sure that I have 40 so that both of my sides will match. So pause the video, do your single crochets evenly across. This is my curve. I'm at 34 stitches, which is pretty much what I'm getting to when I'm getting to my curves. So that's good. So now I just need 6 more single crochets evenly spaced out. So that was 34. Let's go 35. 36. 37. 38. 39, and right on this corner I'm going to do my 40th single crochet, and I'm going to put my last stitch marker in that 40th stitch, and from stitch marker to stitch marker, that's stitch 1 and stitch 40 of my side 3. Now after the stitch marker is going to be side 4. So spin your work a little bit, and this is going to be the second shoulder strap. So if you did 80, you're going to chain 80. If you did a different number, just whatever that number is, it needs to match. So chain that. And now you're going to carefully take out your stitch marker, not losing track of that stitch, and you're going to go in it with a slip stitch. So just go right in that stitch. If you don't know how to do a slip stitch, you just yarn over, pull up a loop, and you're going to pull that loop through this next loop that's on your hook. Just like that. And now you're not going to mark the stitch yet because that was just a slip stitch. So we're back on side 1. And for round 2, on side 1, we're going to do single crochet decreases in every 2 stitches. So in that same stitch that you just put your slip stitch in, you're going to start there. So go in that same exact stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, and go into the very next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, and pull through all 3. And now you're going to mark that stitch. Okay. And you're going to go into the next 2 stitches with another single crochet decrease. So go into the next, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops, don't finish that. Go in the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3. That is 2 stitches, and you're just going to keep going into every 2 stitches with a decrease. You're shrinking your original number in half. So my first number was 40, so now I should have 20 single crochet decreases. So just work your way along. I will meet you at the end of this row or this side to show you how to end it. I have my 2 stitches left. One is the stitch marker and the other one is right before it. That is my 20th stitch, my 20th single crochet decrease. So I took my stitch marker out and I'm going to go into both of those stitches with my last decrease. And then I'm going to mark that stitch so that I know where side 1 starts and ends. So now I'm at my chain. This is side 2, and you're just going to do 1 single crochet in every single chain. I have 80 chains, so I should have 80 single crochets right before the stitch marker over here. And I go into the back loop and the 3rd loop for shoulder straps. So I skip, hold on, there's a trash truck outside. I don't know if you can hear that. What I was saying is I just don't go into the front loops. So if you're not familiar, there is a front loop and a back loop, and there is a 3rd loop, which is these little bumps Some people only go into those as well, so that would be they're going into the third loop. I go into the back loop and the third loop. So to start off, this is my very first, sorry, because I'm zoomed in, I don't even know where I'm at. This is my very first chain right here. So I'm just not going to go into this loop. And if you want to, from the right to the left, go underneath that front loop, just like that, and then pull this foundation chain towards you. So you're like flipping it over your hook, and you're underneath that back loop and that third loop. So then you yarn over, pull through. This right here is your front loop. You have your 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, and that is your single crochet. And the loop that you see is your front loop because I am in my back and third loop. So you can keep doing that by going underneath the front loops from the right to the left, going under it just like that, and then pulling this chain towards you, and then you're under 2 loops. You're under a back loop and a third loop. Then you grab your working yarn, yarn over, pull through, that's that front loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2. Now I don't go from, like I don't hold my crochet hook and go like this the whole foundation chain. Well, I don't even know if, I don't think this would be called a foundation chain if it's not at the very beginning of your work, but I just go into, there's a space right here. So I go in, and at the same time I turn this towards me, and this is how I get my 2 loops. So that's just a way of doing it. I just know where I'm going in, but if you can't quite tell, you can do the first method that I taught you. So just repeat that for your 80 chains or whatever number you came up with. It's just 1 single crochet in every single chain. Keep track of that number. That way when you get close to the stitch marker, you know, because it might look a little bit confusing when you start getting close. What is an actual chain? What one is your 80th chain, and so on. So just count as you're doing it so that you know that you're right on track, and I will show you the next step when you get over to this stitch marker. So my 80 single crochets are done. We are going to work on side 3. Right where the stitch marker is, you're going to take it out and start your single crochet decreases right where that stitch marker was. So go in, yarn over, pull up a loop, go in the very next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. That is your first decrease, so you're going to mark that. And my original number was 40, so I should have 20 decreases. That is 1. I should have 19 more. So go into the next 2 stitches, yarn over, pull up a loop, go in the next one, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3, and just keep doing that all the way across till you get to your last 2 stitches. And I will show you the very last decrease in case you still need help with that. I have 2 stitches left, one being the stitch marker. So I'm going to go into those last 2 stitches with my final 20th decrease, and I'm going to mark that stitch. And now we're on side 4, which is our other strap. So the same thing, 1 single crochet in each chain, 80 chains, there should be 80 single crochets. Now we're back to side 1, and we're going to start round 3. So we're going to take our stitch marker out and keep track of it, and you're going to go in to that stitch and do a single crochet decrease. So yarn over, pull up a loop, go into the very next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3, and you're going to mark that stitch. So I had 20 decreases. I should have 10 decreases, and that is stitch 1 of my 10. So now I should have 9 more. Go into the next 2 stitches with a decrease. And I have my 2 stitches left because even though it doesn't look like it, I am in that stitch. So that's my last decrease where my stitch marker is. So I'm going to go in that. And I'm going to mark it. So my first stitch and my 10th stitch is marked. Now I am at side 2, which is the strap. And you're just going to continue the straps the same way. So 80 single crochets every time you get to your straps. There's no increasing or decreasing. So every single stitch is just 1 single crochet. Super easy straps. So I should have 80 when I get to the other stitch marker. So I will meet you at the end of side 2. I'm on side 3 where my stitch marker is, so I'm going to take that out. And just like side 1, we're going to do all decreases. So in that same spot where the stitch marker was in, you're going to go in it, yarn over, pull up a loop, and go into the next stitch. Yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3, mark that stitch, and now every 2 stitches do your decreases. That was stitch 1 of my 10. So this is stitch 2. And then just do this all the way down. Came towards the end where I have my 2 stitches left for my last decrease. I'm going to take my stitch marker out and go into that for my 10th decrease, and I'm going to mark that stitch. And for side 4, you're just going to do those 80 single crochets, super easy. And then I will meet you at the first stitch marker to show you round 4. Okay, so I'm all done with side 4. Now I'm back to side 1 to start round 4, and you'll be happy to hear that round 4, 5, and 6 is the same exact round where all you do is 1 single crochet in every single stitch. Completely it. That's all it takes. So you'll have 10 single crochets on the side, 80 on your strap, another 10 single crochets for your other side, 80 when you get back to the stitch marker. You'll do it again, and you'll do it again. So for this first stitch marker, I'm going to go in and do my single crochet, and I'm going to still mark this because I do need to know when I get done with round 4, and then when I get done with round 5, and so on. So keep track of that first stitch marker. So now just do 1 single crochet in every single stitch. That was stitch 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, and I do have 10. That's where my stitch marker is at. So I'm going to take it out, and you do not need the other stitch markers. You do need your first stitch marker. Every time you get back to it, you need to go into the stitch and then put the stitch marker in the next one above it. So keep track of that one, but you don't need to know when your side ends and your strap begins. So that makes it a lot easier too. You're just going to have 1 stitch marker going for every round. This is round 4. So you're just going to go around, and then when you get back to here, you're going to do round 5 all the way around. When you get back to here, you're going to do round 6 all the way around. And then when you get to the stitch right before here, I will meet back up with you after round 6 to show you how to completely be done with your bag, how to end it off. So happy crocheting this part. It might take a little bit of time. So I will meet back up with you at the very end. Okay, so I'm at the end of round 6. This is my stitch marker. So all you're going to do to end round 6 is go into the stitch where your stitch marker was in. You're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, and you're going to pull that loop through the loop that's on your hook, doing a slip stitch, and then you're just going to pull on your hook, like pull away from it to get some yarn, because you're going to yarn off now to weave in. So now you would just put this on your sewing needle, and this is the outside of your bag, so you're going to put this towards the inside so you don't see it, and just weave it back and forth on the inside in different directions so it will be less likely to unravel, and then you are completely done with your bags. Alright guys, so we're all done. Hopefully you love learning the cat's eye stitch. This is what the ombre skeins did. It kind of just did opposites, where this one went from light to dark and this one went from dark to light. So I think that that's super fun. And if you did ombre or any other kind of color, just tag me on Facebook and show me if you've made these bags. I'd love to see them. And don't forget to like and comment and subscribe and all those good things. It really helps me out. And in the comment section, if you want to leave me any kind of suggestions on what to learn, if you need to learn a certain stitch that's really difficult, or if you want to learn a project that I haven't made yet, just shoot me some ideas and keep a lookout for those videos, and I will be more than happy to get to work on them. But until then, happy crocheting your cat's eye summer bags. Bye, crochet friends.